It is astonishing how miseducated most people in the world are. I mean, from looking at this comment, first of all, okay, I went through your page and you're from Ghana. And you're saying that you are in their country. And you're saying my people in America are also in their country. So I'm speaking of the miseducation system because most of you do not understand that we were everywhere all over the earth. Thousands of years before the pale skinned folks ever got here. I actually did a video showing people from different lands what they looked like before the pale skinned folks got here and started putting their seed in everyone when they colonized the world. It's obvious that you also have never read this book as well, When the World Was Black. I don't like using that word. It's very derogatory. That explains it all. You have to start picking up books and reading them because we all have been miseducated. Those people who have conquered the world, the pale-skinned folks, they have given us their false narrative of history. So you have to unlearn all their lies. You said, what happened long ago, we will not sit there and let them do anything. So don't say we're fools, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, the thing about it is, we didn't just sit back and let them do what they did to us in America. Neither did the Australians, neither did the South Africans, neither did any of the other countries, India, and all the other places that the pale folks have gone to and colonized them and changed their identities and done whatever they've done to the people in those areas, give them religion and all that. Like, no one just sat back and allowed them to do it. It's something that just happened because it was a plan in the back of their mind. And the indigenous people of that land were unaware. It didn't realize their plans. Okay, so don't say that won't happen. And again, you obviously did not watch the entire video or you didn't understand what I was saying. I was basically calling the fools the people who are giving me backlash, who are making mean comments to people in America, and the ones who are actually laughing about the cops mowing us down and putting us 6 feet under. I wasn't calling everyone in Africa a fool. So let's get back to my people not actually being from America, and we are in their country, in their land. Clearly, you can see that when they came to America, what does it say was already there in America? A Negroid, copper-colored culture of people. Okay? My people in America, we are not mixed, not all of us. We are copper-colored people. Most of us referred to as copper-colored. Yes, there were other complexions of people as well. There were a lot of indigenous, native people in the Americas, Aboriginal, original, whatever you want to call it, who actually mixed with Africans, who were of a much darker complexion than us, copper-colored people. Clearly, it states here that the original inhabitants of the America were, again, in red, of a what? Negroid stock. It says not a Mongolian stock in blue. It says, so when the Mongolian stock arrived in the Americas, it was already populated by people who look like me, which also proves that we did not come from Africa to America. Furthermore, it explains that the first entry of the Mongolian people into the Americas began after 3000 BC. I don't know how accurate that time frame is and everything, but clearly it's stating that they came after. They've named them the Native Americans, the so-called people who were there from the very beginning, which they weren't. And you can clearly see that they weren't. It's just basically saying that they came after we were already there. President Andrew Jackson, he implemented Indian Removal Acts. Indian. Okay, well, this is the name that they gave to us, one of the many names, okay, that the pale-skinned folks who have taken over our country, our land, our continents, and I'm saying to include North and South America and the Caribbean, they implemented a removal act to remove my people who were already all over the Americas, from the top of America down to the bottom of South America. And so they started removing us. But these particular removals were in what's currently the United States, which is actually Tamerica. That's the original name. We had the Choctaw removal in 1831. And I know some of you are going to try to correct me and say Choctaw. No, they named it Choctaw later. It was Choctaw prior to Choctaw. We have the Seminole removal. We have the Creek removal. And this is basically, again, those pale-skinned immigrants removing my people from our land. And they stole our land from us. They took it over. This is the Chickasaw removal. This is the Cherokee removal. And literally, here is proof that those pale-skinned folks came over to America. Hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children were shipped from Britain to America and the Caribbean. In the 150 years before the Boston Tea Party in 1773, most of them were servants that paid their passage to America by selling their rights, and others actually were forced to go over there. They were kidnapped and brought over to the Americas, and they were used as slaves. Many of them died in slavery. Some were able to purchase themselves out of slavery. Again, that's proof that they're not from America. No, that's not their land. They are immigrants. They came over on ships. And last but not least, these are the treaties made with the Caucazoids that came over to our land and stole it from us. A treaty, a peace treaty, allowing them to come in and set up a better government. It was because they trusted them, and they betrayed their trust because they did not uphold any of the treaties that were made from my people to their people. They were only supposed to stay on certain parts of the land, but they actually took all of it over and ended up subjugating us. Many of us were enslaved. Many of us were prisoners of war. They changed our identity a plethora of times. They breeded us with the Africans to make us look more like them so they can throw us all under the bus and call us all African Americans, which they do today, beginning in the 1980s. And then the whole world expects us to just embrace and accept that identity. No, all of us are not African Americans, so we're not going to do that. Some of us are actually indigenous people. We're not all from Africa. And as you can see today, they unalive us in the streets, with no provocation. They have completely run amok, and they do whatever they want to do. Now back to the statue, because that's the video that you made the comment on and everything. Just like you said, you're not going to just sit around and wait for it to happen. It's something that just happens because you immerse them into your society. And then before you know it, they have completely taken over. And now they're running the government, because you trust them. And the problem with people who look like us is that we're too nice. We're too kind. And we're actually, a lot of us are pushovers and everything. And this is actually how things like that happen. And, seeing that you people love your enemies so much, in Ghana, you have a picture of their God, their image all over your trotros, all billboards everywhere, of that pale skinned JC, everywhere and everything. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen to y'all. Trust me, it's gonna happen because y'all love them too much and everything. I mean, why are you worshiping a God that looks like them anyway? Like that makes absolutely no sense. Especially when everybody else in the world is worshiping gods that looks just like them, huh? Call me racist, call me whatever you want. I don't care. But everybody else in the world worships a God that looks like them, not like the people who have come over and colonized them and stole their land from them. Like, make that make sense. Make it make sense, please.